Hello everyone. Good morning to all of you. I, Rupali Singh, welcome you all in the platform of GS World. And firstly, I accept my apologies for yesterday. Alright, due to some work, I was busy, so I couldn't come yesterday, and I wasn't get the time to inform all of you. So that is why I'm really very sorry for yesterday. Alright, so nothing happened. Aurangzeb, Deepak, Ajay, Ripunjay, Amit, and Amarnath, Aprajita. Very good morning to all of you. Deepak, it's not my birthday today, okay? My birthdays used to be at the end of the financial year, all right? And when your financial year ends, it ends on 31st of March, and on that day my birthday falls, all right? So it's not my birthday today, all right? And if any student has its birthday today, so a very happy birthday to that student, okay? So when will you start this session? Yes, it's already started. Okay, Amarnath, just wait, all right, for 2 minutes, and it's already started. So in our today's session, it is your current affairs session, and yesterday we haven't discussed anything. So, but we will cover up yesterday's current affairs in our upcoming session. All right, so don't worry about that. So firstly, what we are going to discuss in our today's session, as per the request of Sakshi Pandey, alright, she has this request that she wanted to study G7 and G20 countries. So today I will be discussing G7 countries, and tomorrow I will be discussing G20 countries. Alright, so today firstly what we are going to discuss, firstly we will discuss our first thing, that is firstly we are discussing our classes that firstly we are discussing G7 countries, and then later on top 10 headline news, and then we will practice some questions. All right, how are you, ma'am? Attending classes after at least a month. All right, Amit Yadav, I am very fine. How are you? All right, and why you are attending classes after a month? You should attend your classes daily. Alright, so let's start the session. So firstly, students, join the session, like the session, share it with all your friends, alright, and please subscribe the channel if you are new to this channel, and press the notification bell icon. Alright, and this is your Telegram channel, GS World IS, which you have to join for your for all the PDF and study materials. Alright, so when we talk about G7 countries, so basically it is a group of intergovernmental organization, and as you can see that how many countries are there. So according to this number, this is your 7, all right, and how many countries are there? There are 7 countries, that is G7 countries in the in this group, all right. And which are these countries? One of the countries here, that is Japan. Next is your United Kingdom, which is located here. The map would not be very clear to all of you, but you can make an idea out of this. All right, next comes your Germany, which is located here. Next is your Italy, which is this part, and next is your France, which is this part. And earlier I have told you this map, all right, and I will have this map, I will have a clear map in front of you later on, and where I will discuss all these countries again. All right, and this part, that is this region, is your Canada, and here it is your USA, and this region is also considered as your USA. All right, so these are the these are the G7 countries. What are these countries? Let's have a quick revision. All right, these are your Germany. Okay, it is not clear. Okay, so what are these countries? These are your Germany, France, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, United States, and Canada. All right, so how many countries are there? There are 7 countries in G7 countries. But what we have to learn about this, that what are its summit that held every year, all right, and what is the history of G7 countries? Was it a group of 7 countries from the beginning? All right, was it some more additional countries were there, or they were being suspended? All right, so, and how many countries were there at the beginning of this this group? So these are some of the historical facts that you should know about this G7 countries. All right, so let's take up one thing. All right, so firstly you have to understand that the group of 7 is an intergovernmental organization which consists of 7 countries. What are these? Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States. All right, yes, I have taken black pen. Okay, and next is that the heads of government of the member states as well as the representatives of the European Union meet at the annual G7 summit. So you have seen that there are 7 member countries in G7, but sometimes you have seen that India has also participated in G7 summit. Sometimes you see that any other country has also participated in G7 countries. Then why does this happen? Because first of all, that it includes in the summit, it includes the representatives of the European Union. All right, European Union countries. And how many countries are there? So there are 27 member countries in European Union, and we will take up European Union country in our next class. All right, means like if you are discussing G7 countries, if you are discussing G20 countries, so there should be discussion of European Union countries also. So I will take up this discussion later on, but for right now you have to understand that how many countries are there in European Union. So there are 27 countries, and representatives of European Union countries also participate in these summits. All right, so what you have to learn over here is that the history of this G7 countries. All right, so let's take up. So basically in the year 1973, what happened, that the finance minister of that one of the US Secretary of Treasury, that is George Shultz, initiated one meeting. All right, so who was he? He was your United States Secretary of Treasury. All right, this is the initiative, that is this group 7 countries was the initiative of one person, that was your George Shultz, and he was the Secretary of United States Secretary of Treasury. All right, so George Shultz from United States, he held an informal meeting in the year 1973 of all the finance ministers of the 3 countries. All right, and what are these countries? These are your United States. All right, apart from United States, there are other 3 countries, that are your West Germany, France and United Kingdom. All right, and the 4th is your United States. So these 4 countries, all right, what happened, these 4 countries participated in this informal meeting, and that was held at which place? That was organized in White House. All right, that was organized in the library of White House, and at that time the group of these 4 countries, all right, it was considered as your library group. All right, because it was organized in the library of, this meeting was organized in the library of White House, so that is why the group of these 4 countries was named as your library group in the year 1973. All right, later on what happened, that this is the initial stage of group 7 countries. All right, so firstly it was named as your library group. Next, what happened, that in the mid of 1973, Schultz proposed the addition of one more country, and which country was this? In the mid of 1973, George Schultz proposed the addition of one country, and that was your Japan. All right, addition of one more country, and what was that? That is your Japan. All right, and what happened, that this became the group of G5 countries. All right, later on, firstly at the first stage, when the group of 4 countries was there, then it was named as your library group. But when there were 5 countries, that is including Japan, then it was named as your group 5 countries or G5 countries. But what happened in the 1974, various turmoils happened. All right, Queen Elizabeth election turmoil was there. All right, and various countries' heads have resigned, and so and that is why in the 1974 this was disrupted, and this was that no formal meeting were organized later on. But in the year 1976, all right, what happened in the year 1976, France France called for the meeting, all right, and all the 6 countries, all right, participated in this France, where your meeting was held. All right, a summit hosted by France brought together representative of 6 government, and what were these 6 governments? These were your France, Germany, United Kingdom, USA, all right, and Japan. All right, these were the countries, and one more, that is Italy, was also participated in this summit. All right. So in 1976, what happened? This is the process of history of G7 countries. All right. So in 1976, this becomes Group 6 countries, like, because France has hosted a summit where all the 6 member countries, that is France, Germany, UK, USA, Japan, plus Italy, has participated, and it becomes the group of 6 countries. And later on, what happened? That one more country, that is your Canada, was also participated in this group. All right. In the year 1976, what happened? That after these 6 countries, the most advanced economy country was left, and it was your Canada. So George Schulz proposed to Canada to join this group, and then it becomes G7 countries in the 1976, and later on Russia also joined this group. All right. In which year Russia joined? So Russia joined this group in the year 1998, and this has become G8 countries. But later on, due to some of the allegations on Russia, the membership of Russia got suspended, and it got suspended in which year? In 2014. So in 2014, what happened? That Russia's membership got suspended from G8 countries, and again it became G7 countries. So these are some of the historical background of G7 countries that you have to remember for your examination. All right. So it started from 1973 till 1976. This is the formation of G7 countries that you have to remember. All right. So in which year which country joined and which country exited is the most important point that you have to remember. And in the recent years, like in the year 2020, what happened? That Donald Trump proposed an initiative where it has urged and it has requested Russia to rejoin the membership of G7 countries. Apart from this, your India, South Korea, and one more country, that is your Australia. These are invited to join the G7 countries, but recently such information that these countries have become the membership or not, this is not clear. All right, whether they would get the membership or not, this is not clear. All right, so you have to remember one more point, that in the year 2020, at that time President Donald Trump also reinvited Russia, and he invited which new countries? These are your India, Australia, and South Korea. India, Australia, and South Korea. So these are some key facts that you have to remember for your examination. All right, that is G7 countries, and similarly we will study our G20 countries, but in our tomorrow's session. So I think that it would be very clear to all of you, and if it is clear, then you have to mention over here that yes, it is clear, and please like the session. All right, so let's take a quick look again. Then in 1973, the United Secretary of Treasury, United States Secretary of Treasury, George Shultz, what happened? That he initiated a meeting, an informal meeting in the library of White House of the 4 countries. All right, and what are these 4 countries? That is United States, West Germany, France, and United Kingdom. And this group of 4 countries were named as your library group at that time in the year 1973. All right, and in the mid of 1973, all right, Schulz proposed the addition of Japan. He invited Japan to join this group. So Japan also accepted this invitation. And what happened that it became group of 5 countries that is known as your G5 countries later on. And in the 1974, due to some of the election turmoils in the world, due to some of the reasons, it got suspended and no meetings were held. But in the year 1976, again, France proposed, it hosted a summit of 6 countries. And what were these countries? That is Italy, France, Germany, United Kingdom, United States of America, and Japan. Later on in the year 1976, only Canada was invited to join this group, and Canada, after joining this group, became the G7 countries. Later on, Russia also joined this group to become it as G8 countries in the year 1998. But due to some of the crime allegations on Russia in the year 2014, its membership got suspended, and it became again your G7 countries. So sometimes questions can be asked that whether Russia is a member of your G7 countries or not. So you have to remember that it was, or sometimes in your interviews also it can be asked that whether Russia is a member of G7 countries or not. So you have to remember that it was member of G7 countries from 1998 till 2014. Alright, and later on in 2020, Donald Trump proposed and re-invited Russia to join this group, and he also invited India, South Korea, and Australia to join this group. Alright, so next what you have to remember are some of these summits. Alright, some of these summits, like the first summit was held in 1975, in which year was held in 1975, in which country? That is France. Next is to 46th summit. All right, whatever the remaining summits are not important. All right, the previous one, that is, it is going 2021. So you have to remember the name of the summit of 2020 and the upcoming summit. So if we talk about 2020, so due to pandemic, it got cancelled. All right, next is your 47th summit 2021. So it is recently being held at which place? That is United Kingdom. All right, and next comes your 48th summit that is going to be hosted by Germany in 2022, and next is your 49th summit that will be held in 2023. All right, in which country? That is Japan. And last comes your 50th summit, and it will be hosted by Italy in the year 2024. So any of these years host country will be asked in your examinations. So you have to prepare with all these summits. All right, so now it would be very clear. All right, so in the year 2021, who has hosted the country? You have to remember that it is United Kingdom. All right, and in the next year also is very important. 2022, Germany will be the host. All right, it will become the host. And if we talk about that, which summit would be there, like which edition is there of G7 country of the year 2021? So it is your 47th summit. So you have to remember the edition also. Okay, so I think it would be clear now. Now we will move to our top headlines. All right, so this was your G7 countries explanation. All right, Sakshi. So now you would be, it would be easy to all of you to remember about G7 countries. And if you want to, if you want a trick also, so you can also learn the trick to remember the G7 countries. Here I am telling you. As you all know that Germany and France, what are these? These are wealthy nations. All right. So you all know that one country, that is your Germany and France, as these are wealthy nations. So what they will drink? All right. They will drink juice. All right, what they will drink? They will drink juice. And according to this short trick, you can remember that J for Japan. All right, U for United States, I for Italy, C for Canada, and E for England, that is your United Kingdom. All right, so in this way you can easily remember the trick to memorize your G7 countries. All right, so apart from this, one more trick is there, like all the nations are wealthy, so that is why they all drink juice and have GF, that is girlfriend. So from GF you can learn this Germany and France, and from juice you can learn all the other countries. All right, so this is a simple trick to learn all the G7 countries, those who face problem in memorizing the names of the countries. But apart from this, if the concept is clear, then it will be very easy for all of you to remember the names of the countries also. Alright, so now we will move to our top headlines, and here comes our first headline, very important for your examination, that recently one of the data has been released by which organization, that is United Nations, and it is saying that India is going to be the fastest growing economy in the year 2022, ahead of China. Alright, so this is a great news for all of you and very important for your examination, because we, the people of India, think that we are not growing. Alright, economy is very less, and as it is very less, but other nations, when it is saying that India is going to be the fastest growing economy, then it will be a shocking news also for all of us. Alright, so then you have to remember that what are the different GDPs, what are the different economic growth forecast of the year 2021 as well as 2022. So fastest growing economy, India to beat China in the year 2022. You can see that in the GDP growth percentage. All right, first is your India, next comes China, then France, Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, South Korea, Canada, Germany, United States, Japan, Brazil, and Russia. This is the GDP growth percentage and economy GDP forecast for the year 2021. So let's take up the news. So United Nations has said that India will be the world's fastest growing major economy in the year 2022. So you have to remember this point. And in its mid-year update of the World Economic Situation and Prospects, WESP, United Nations projected that the Indian economy will grow at 10.1% in the calendar year 2022. So now students, you have to remember some of the important facts related to this news. The first point that you have to remember over here is that World Economic Situation and Prospects report is released by which organization? So you have to remember that it is released by United Nations, and basically it is released by UNCTAD and one of the department of that is your United Nations. All right, and you have to remember that the Indian economy will grow up at what percentage? That is 10.1% in the calendar year 2022, and it has estimated 7.5% growth for the year 2021. You don't have to confuse between 21 data and 22 data. All right, because in your examination the question will be asked that what is the growth rate, that is what is the GDP growth rate for the year 2022 as per the United Nations data recently. So you have to remember that you will get the option as 7.5 also, and you will get the option as 10.1 also. All right, so 7.5% is for which year? 2021, and 10.1% for the 2022. And the report also said that India will register a 7.5% growth, all right, and 7.5% growth rate in the calendar year 2021. So you have to remember this thing. All right, so 7.5% growth rate is for which year? That is 2021. All right, Ankit is saying please repeat, ma'am. All right, what do you want me to repeat? Ankit, it's very simple. You have to remember that India is going to be the fastest growing economy in the year 2022, ahead of China. Its growth rate is estimated, it's forecasted to be 10.1% in the year 2022 and 7.5% in the year 2021. All right, so you don't have to confuse between both of these these data. All right, and this is the point. And one thing that you have to remember is that this WESP, all right, which report is this? That is World Economic Situation and Prospects Report. It is released by United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. All right, it is released by your United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. All right, Department of Economic and Social Affairs. All right, you have to remember this department and rest, and it is jointly released by UNCTAD also. All right, it also participate in this thing. All right, partnership with United Nations Conference on Trade and United Nations Conference on Trade and your development. All right, so you have to remember this point, that which department of United Nations is used to release this report. Next comes your next question, next news, and what is it? You have just seen that China conducted its 7th population census, and it is going to and the growth rate is slowing these days. All right, and it is growing at the rate of 5 point something percentage. So you have to remember that what is the increase in the population in China in this decade? What is the growth percentage? All right, which policy was adopted by China? What are the concerns of population in China? So these are some of the facts that you have to remember about the population of China. So let's discuss. You have to remember. Okay, so China's population was 1.41 million, all right, in 2020, increasing by 72 million since the last census in 2010, recording a 5.38% growth in this period, and the average annual growth was 0.53%. All right, so this is the annual growth rate, and the decadal growth rate is what? This is your 5.38%, and this is the growth rate that you have to remember for your examination. If we talk about that in the year 2020, what was the population of your China? So it was 1.41 million, all right, and increasing by 72 million since last census in the year 2010. All right, and next, if we talk about this census, so it recorded a slowing population growth rate that will likely see China's population peak and will overtake as early as 2025. So very important for your examination. This data is again very important, that it will this population peak will overtake India as early as 2025. Yes, Kuldeep, this class runs daily at 8:15, all right, and sometimes due to some of the delay, this class runs at 8:30 or 8:20 also. Okay, so what are the concerns of this growth rate, of this slowing growth rate of China? So basically, there is a concern that according to the economist, it is said that there is the old population, old population more than the young population in China. So it is a saying that China will become old earlier than it gets richer. All right, so it is the saying, and China has also adopted one-child policy. All right, in the year 2016 or something, it has loosened its child policy to two-child, but later on again it has implemented one-child policy only. All right, so what was the need of one-child policy? Because what happened, that China is having the having the maximum population in all over the world. You all know it very well. All right, so what happened, that there is food crisis. There may be food crisis in that country. All right, there may be climate catastrophe and economic and environmental catastrophe that may happen in that country. So it has adopted one child policy. All right, and so that they can control their population and focus on their economic development. Later on, this one child policy was the result of one theory. And what was that theory? The name of that theory was Malthusian theory. All right, very important. You have to remember that for one thing, that one child policy is related to which country? So it is related to your China. All right, in which they have only they can only give birth to one child. All right, it was adopted out of Malthusian fears that checked that unchecked population growth will lead to economic and environmental catastrophe. And if we talk about this Malthusian theory, so what is it? It was also it was given by one person, all right, and his name was this Malthusian theory was given by Thomas Robert Malthus, and Thomas Malthus, all right, Thomas Robert Malthus, and he was the first economist to tell about the direct results of unchecked population in the economy. All right, so that is why, according to the Malthusian theory, they have adopted one child policy. So both of the things are very important. Both of the things are very important for your examination. Okay, but in NCERT, India's population will equal to China in 2045. Yes, Sakshi, definitely. All right, so in the year 2025, you can see that it will overtake also. So till 2045, and in NCERT, sometimes your old data must be given, all right, and that is not in NCERT, your updation will be very slow. So maybe they will update later on. Okay. Yes, Prachita, later on, it has taken back this one child policy, but it has been implemented again. All right. So you have to remember this thing, okay? So it has loosened the one-child family planning in the year 2016, but later on it has again implemented, I think so, okay? So you have to learn all these facts regarding your China population, and definitely you have to learn one more important thing, that is its growth rate, that is 5.38%. All right, so now we will move to our next point, and next is your violence in Jerusalem as it is taking place, and there is conflict and a war is held between two nations, that is your Israel and Palestinian group. All right, so let's discuss that what is the cause of conflict between these two nations and what is the important news. So tensions have been building up in Jerusalem since the start of Ramzan in mid-April between Israeli forces and Palestinians. So what happened, that what is the cause of conflict? So basically, Jerusalem is considered to be the capital of Israel. All right, and what happened, that Palestine also claims that it is the capital of their country. All right, so that is why this. All right, so that is why there are tensions between these countries. Like in earlier, United Nations has declared that that Jerusalem is the international capital, so it cannot be the capital of any country. But later on, what happened, that there is a war happened between Israel and which country, that is India and Palestine in the year 1948. All right, and at that time, and later on in the year 1967, what happened, that both of these countries had a war, and the east Jerusalem was taken by your Israel, and the west Jerusalem was taken by Palestine. But later on, Donald Trump claimed that Jerusalem, the unified Jerusalem, is the capital of Israel, and this becomes the cause of conflict. So let's discuss this point, that recently Israeli armed forces stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque in the Haram-es-Sharif in Jerusalem, and it is the part of West Jerusalem. All right, so this you have to remember. And in retaliation, Hamas, the Islamist militant group that runs Gaza, fired dozens of rockets. Okay, so you have to remember this point. This policy is no more. Okay, Prajata, maybe I have seen, like, I have learned this point, that in the year 2016, this one child policy was ended, but I am not sure that whether it is implemented again or not. Okay, so it wasn't implemented later on. Okay, so this has been called a misnomer, because for nearly 30 of the 36 that it existed. Okay, Ripunjay, so that is why now it has been ended over there. Okay, so one child policy has been ended in the year 2016. Okay, I think that it has been implemented again. Okay, I think that I have heard somewhere, or it must be mentioned wrong at that there. Okay, so sorry for that. It is being. Okay, now two child policies there. Okay. Okay, so now let's move to next point. All right, what is it? Jerusalem is the cause of conflict between the two nations, and recently, in retaliation, Hamas, the Islamist militant group that runs Gaza, fired your dozens of rockets over there. All right, and Israel sees the whole city as its unified capital, but Palestine also claims that this is their capital. So this is the cause of conflict between both the nations, and that is why there tensions and violence is going on between those countries. All right, so now we will come back to our next point. All right, and Hamas is an army of Palestine. Yes, definitely, I told you recently. Okay, so next, if we talk about our next point, that is recently your fourth India-Swiss financial dialogue held. All right, and what is this dialogue? Let's discuss. So the dialogue was held virtually in New Delhi between Secretary Economic Affairs Ajay Seth, who was leading the Indian delegation, and Miss Danielle Stoffel, State Secretary for International Finance. All right, and the matters relating to G20, IMF, and tax challenges arising from the digitalization of the economy was discussed along with infrastructure financing. All right, so this point you have to remember. Okay, Abdul Misbahi. All right, I'm not here intentionally to hurt anybody's sentiments. All right, this is the matter that I have taken out from the newspaper. So whatever there is written, I have taken out. All right, and if you consider that it is not a militant group, then it's up to you. Okay, and I'm not here to hurt anybody's sentiments, so please don't mind it. Okay, if you don't consider it a militant group, then it's okay. Okay, so now militant group or warriors. Okay, Aurangzeb, I don't know, because it is written over there. It is written in every newspaper. You can also see it. Okay, so let's discuss next point. All right, don't discuss. I'm not here to discuss such points. All right, it's not my job, and I don't understand. Okay, so I don't want to discuss such things over here. All right, it is their matter, and they would sort out. So let's see our next point, that is the matters relating to G20, IMF, and tax challenges arising from the digitalization of the economy was discussed along with infrastructure financing. So first thing that you have to remember over here, that which edition of India-Swiss dialogue held recently. So it was your fourth edition of India-Swiss dialogue. And if we talk about that, in this dialogue, who has participated? So from India, your Economic Affairs Secretary Ajay Seth has participated in this point, and next is your that Miss Daniela Stoffel, State Secretary of International Finance, has also participated in this. All right, and the matters that is relating to G20, International Monetary Fund, and tax challenges arising out of digitalization of the economy was discussed along with infrastructure financing. All right, so this you have to remember. Okay, don't discuss such things. All right, whatever the guidelines or whatever it has been given, whatever the name it is given by United States, that will be implemented, and that would be enforceable all over the world. All right, it's not about that any one person is not considering it as any group. It is, if you are not considering it as militant group or terrorist group, then it's up to you. All right, we are not here to change anybody's perception. Okay, so now we will move to our next point. What is our next point? That is your KP Sharma Oli reappointed as Prime Minister of Nepal recently. You have heard that earlier KP Sharma Oli has left his seat, and he was resigned due to because he doesn't claim the maximum number of seats that he should be. All right, so let's discuss this point. He was reappointed as the Prime Minister of the country by President Vidya Devi Bhandari. Now he must prove that he was majority support in the House within 30 days, and the decision to reappoint Oli was taken after none of the opposition party could secure majority seats in the House to form a new government or apply for it in the provided time framework. So this is is the important point that you have to remember, that recently who has become or who has been reappointed as the Prime Minister of Nepal, that is your KP Sharma Oli. And it must be noted that on 10th of May 2021, Oli failed to obtain a vote of confidence in the House of Representatives, gaining only 93 of the total 230 votes cast. Next point is Sir David Attenborough named COP20 People's Advocate. Very, very important for your examination. COP26 is used to be a summit that is related to your climate and environmental change. And recently, who has become the advocate of COP26? So People's Advocate of COP26. So the name is your David Attenborough. You can see him in the picture also. So Sir David Attenborough, world-renowned broadcast and natural historian, has been named COP26 People's Advocate for the United Kingdom's presidency of United Nations Climate Change Summit in Glasgow this November. All right, so you have to remember, and the question that would be asked in your examination is that who has become the People's Advocate of the Year for COP26 Summit. So you have to remember this name, that is Sir David Attenborough. Next comes very, very important news, that is Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh declares one district, that is one new district in Punjab. And what is the name of that district? That is Maler Kotla, and it has become the 23rd district of Punjab recently. So let's discuss. Punjab Chief Minister has declared Maler Kotla as 23rd district of the state on May 14, 2021 on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, as this is the district where Muslims community are maximum in number. So that is why this district has been declared as a different district. It has become a different district that is named as your Maler Kotla. And Maler Kotla is a Muslim dominated area and has been carved out of the Sangrur district of the state. So first thing that you have to remember, that Maler Kotla is the which number district of Punjab? That is 23rd district. And next thing that you have to remember is that from which district it has been cut out. So you have to remember the name of that district, that is your Sangrur district of the state. All right, so these 2 points are very important that you have to remember. Next comes your next point, and the most renowned author, that is Ruskin Bond, comes up with a new book. And what is the name of this book? And the name of this book is All-Time Favorites for Children. All-Time Favorites for Children is the new book of Ruskin Bond that you have to remember. Apart from this, there are various authors that have recently launched their books. All right, number 1 is your Kalki Koechlin, that has launched her debut book, and the name of the book is Elephant in the Womb. Next is your Whereabouts. This is one of the book that is recently released, and it is the English translation of one of her earlier books, and this is the book that is authored by your Jhumpa Lahiri. Apart from this, one of the book that has recently been released is your The Living Mountain, and the name and the author of this book, that is The Living Mountain, is your Amitav Ghosh. So these are your recently books and authors that you have to remember. So Ruskin Bond has carefully curated 25 of his most cherished stories in a new book that is All-Time Favorites for Children, and he received the Sahitya Academy Award for English Writing in India in the year 1993 and Padma Shri in the year 1999 also. So next you have to remember all these things. Okay, so Niwari has become the 52nd district of Madhya Pradesh. Ripunjay is saying very good. Alright, next comes your next world record. As you have seen recently or earlier in my earlier classes, I have told you that one person, that is Kami Rita Sherpa, he has made a record in Guinness Book of Worlds where he has climbed the Mount Everest 25 times, and it was the 25th time he has climbed Mount Everest recently. And next comes your next record, and what is that record and who has made it? Next is your Mingpa Tenji Sherpa. Next person is your Mingpa Tenji Sherpa, and he also creates a new world record. And what is this? That is Mingpa Tenji Sherpa, a Nepali mountain guide, has created a world record by scaling Mount Everest, the world's highest peak, twice in the shortest span of time in a season. Alright, and can you imagine that he climbed this Mount Everest with the shortest span, and the number of days within he climbs, like within 4 days he climbed 2 times the Mount Everest. Alright, he climbed Mount Everest twice within 4 days. This is amazing. Like how can he do this thing? Alright, I cannot even imagine. I cannot imagine that how to climb and within 4 days to come back and then climb again. Alright, this should be the strength. Alright, so Sherpa first reached the top of the mountain in the evening of May 7, 2021, and then performed the feat again on the morning of May 11, 2021. So he climbed Mount Everest twice in the gap of just 4 days. Alright, so like in the 4 days he again regained and again climbed the Mount Everest in May 11, 2021. Alright, so this is the next point that you have to remember. Alright, Sakshi is saying Kami Rita Sherpa scaled Mount Everest 25 times, and now again one of the these Sherpas used to climb the mountain, and they create a problem for us that I have to remember their names and their records for our examination. Alright, so let's see that what is the name. Mingpa Tenji Sherpa. He has made a record to climb the Mount Everest in the shortest span of time in a season. Next comes your next point, and next is your China completes historic Mars landing. So let's discuss that what is the important news in this landing. Alright, so recently an uncrewed Chinese spacecraft successfully landed on the surface of Mars on 15th of May 2021, making China the second space-faring nation after the United States to land on the Mars. This is the very important point that you have to remember, and here comes the answer of my question that I haven't asked, but they know, my students know that what I want to ask from them. So Priya has mentioned the height of the Mount Everest, that is 8,848.86 meter, that I used to ask in my class, and this is the dedication and this is the regularity of the student that they answer without asking my questions. All right, so very well done, Priya. Alright, and then this way you can also answer, and Sakshi was also answering this question about Kami Rita Sherpa. Alright, very good, very well done all of you. Alright, so making China the second space-faring nation after the United States to land on the Mars. Alright, so after United States, the next country, that is your China, it has landed on Mars recently. Alright, and it has become the second space-faring nation. Next is your from which spacecraft landed on Mars. So the name of the spacecraft is your Tianwen first. A spacecraft landed on the site on a vast plain on Mars known as Utopia Planitia. Alright. And a solar-powered rover named Zhurong will study planet surface, soil, atmosphere, and will also look for signs on ancient life. Now comes your practice questions, so get ready to answer these questions, and next you have to get ready with your keypads because you have to answer very fast. Alright, so let's see our first question on your screen. Alright, so the next question on your screen is given over here. Abhilasha, very, very good morning to you too, and have a good day. So please like the session before moving. Alright, and if you are new to this channel, so please subscribe the channel also and press the notification bell icon, and keep sharing the video so that others can also join the session. So first question on your screen is given: who has been appointed as the new head coach of the Team India Senior Women by BCCI on 14th of May 2021? And you have to answer this question, and your options are Kapil Dev, Mohammad Kaif, Ramesh Pawar, or Virendra. Sehwag. So you have to answer that who has been appointed as the new head coach of Team India Senior Women by BCCI on 14th of May 2021. And the correct answer is yes, Ramesh Pawar. And I can see your answers. Aurangzeb, Priya, Rahul, Vishal, Ankit, alright, Abhilasha, Kirti, all of you are giving the correct answers. Next question is, every year the International Day of Families is celebrated on which day? You have to answer, students, that every year the International Day of Families is celebrated on which day? Alright, Ram Singh, very good morning and very welcome, a warm welcome to you in the platform of GS World. Alright, so you have to answer that which every year the International Day of Families is celebrated on which day? So it is celebrated on 15th May. And what is the theme of the year 2021 of International Families Days? You have to mention over here. This is your homework. What is its theme 2021? You have to mention in the comment section, and this would be your homework. All right. I think families and technology, this is the theme of this year. So you have to answer the theme of 2021. Next question on your screen is given, as of May 15, 2021, which of the following is number 1 in ICC Test cricket ranking? Options are New Zealand, next comes your Australia, then England and India. So you have to answer that as of May 15, 2021, which of the following team is number 1 in ICC Test cricket ranking? And I think that you all can answer this question, and as this is your favorite question. Families and new technology. Very good, Aprajita. All right, families and new technology is the theme for the year 2021 of International Families Day. What is the correct answer? Yes, I can see it is India. All right, India is on the first rank. And which country is followed by India? That is your second rank goes to New Zealand in the number 1 ICC Test cricket ranking. All right, very good, Ripunjay. All right, Aprajita, on the second number is your New Zealand. On the first, this time comes your India. All right, next question on your screen is, as per the latest list. This is very important question for all of you. As per the latest list by Fortune, the Prime Minister of which country tops the greatest leaders list for the role he or she played to tackle COVID from spreading in the country? Options are given: Australia, Brazil, your New Zealand or Singapore. So you have to answer that among the which countries Prime Minister. All right, which country's Prime Minister has become the topmost in the topmost to tackle COVID from spreading in the country? And what is the correct answer of this question? This is your New Zealand's Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern. All right, she had played a great role to tackle COVID from spreading in the country. So what is the correct answer? That is your New Zealand. Yes, Sakshi, absolutely right. All right, and if we talk about that in the top 10 list from India, in the top 10 list, who is in the top 10 list? So he is your Adar Poonawalla. Adar Poonawalla, and his Serum Institute of India. It is the largest institute, like it is the largest organization which used to manufacture the largest number of vaccines in all over the world. All right. So if we talk about your first rank person is your Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and in the top 10 list, one Indian, that is your Adar Poonawalla, has mentioned in the top 10 list. Next question is, in Indonesia, which of the following erupted on 13th of May 2021? And we have already discussed this question in our earlier classes, and your options are Mount Merapi, Mount Sinabung, and Tangkuban Perahu or Pendan. So you have to answer that which of your mountain, that which of your volcano has erupted recently in the country, that is Indonesia, and I have told you about this mountain in detail. Okay, Mukesh Kumar, namaskar, how are you? Okay, Sakshi, Mount Sinabang, very good. Aurangzeb, Kirti, Vishal Roy, all right, and Ankit. Yes, he is CEO of your Serum Institute of India, and the correct answer is Mount Sinabang, and you have seen that it is in the island of your Indonesia. All right, very important. In the Ring of Fire, yes, Aprajita, it's not Mount Merapi. On 13th of May, it is talking about. So this is Mount Sinabang, and it is asking about in Indonesia. Next question is, who was sworn in as the president of Uganda in May 2021? Option are Justin Khainja, Yoweri Museveni, or Monica Omoding, or last is your Abed Bawinika. If we talk about Uganda, so its capital is Kampala. Alright, so recently your president has been appointed, and you have to tell the name of the newly appointed president of Uganda. So what is the correct answer of this question? The correct answer is Yoweri Museveni. Next question is, Mount Pumori is located in which of the following countries? Options are India, Nepal, Bhutan, and China. I haven't seen the date. It's okay, Prachita. Okay, so you have to answer that Mount Pumori is located in which of the following countries, and your options are given: India, Nepal, Bhutan, or your China. Alright, so recently Mount Pumori is in news. Alright, why? Because one person from Himachal Pradesh, alright, who is he? Baljit Kaur. Alright, Baljit Kaur, she's a woman, and one person from Rajasthan, alright, one woman from Rajasthan, that is Gunbala Sharma, they both has climbed this mountain, that is Mount Pumori, and this duo is the first in the country to scale a mountain that is part of Everest massif. Alright, this Mount Pumori is a part of Mount massif, and in this peak, this is the first time that this duo has climbed this peak, that is Mount Pumori, and it is located in Nepal. Absolutely. Alright, very good. Next question is, with which of the following has Axiom Space? With which of the following has Axiom Space signed an order to start the first private astronaut mission to the International Space Station? Options are SpaceX, NASA, JAXA, or Roscosmos. If we talk about SpaceX, so this is the private space agency, and it is led by, its founder is Elon Musk. If we talk about NASA, so this is your National Aeronautics Space Agency, and it is based in United States, Washington DC, and it is the space agency of your United States of America. Next comes your JAXA, that is Japan Exploration Agency, Japan Aeronautics Exploration Agency, and it is the Japanese Space Agency. Rest is your Roscosmos, which is the space agency of Russia. So you have to answer that. What is the correct answer? And I knew that you all will answer SpaceX, because recently SpaceX was also in the news, but your NASA was also in the news, and the correct answer is your NASA, that is National Aeronautics Space Agency. It's not Elon Musk, it's not SpaceX. All right, here you have to answer, because yes, absolutely, Dogecoin is related to your when we talk about Dogecoin, it is related to your SpaceX, and for that purpose it is also planning to have a private crew mission to one of your in the space. But this is also in the news that Axiom Space has signed the private astronaut mission with which space agency, that is your NASA. You have to be very clear between these two space agencies, that which is doing what. Alright, so now we will come back to our next question. And what is your next question? Here it is. Scientists now have the most precise information on the deepest points in each of the Earth's 5 oceans, and in the Southern Ocean, which of the following can be considered the deepest point in 7,400 with 7,432 meter depth? Options are given: Meteor Deep, Hubble Deep Field, Factorial Deep, or One Chandra Deep. Alright, so you have to answer that. Which is the deepest point with your 7,432 depth in your in your Southern Ocean. All right. So you all know that there are recently one of your data has published in which your recently, according to the precise data, new 5 ocean expedition was going on till since 2019. So recently they have released one data according to which your all the deepest points of all the 5 oceans has been your recently released. So what is the correct answer of this question? And I'm getting the wrong answers from all of you. The correct answer is your Factorian Deep in the Southern Ocean, and I will come up with a detailed study of this 5 deep oceans and which is the deepest point of all these oceans, and it will be your homework also. All right, it will be, I'm giving you one homework, and in the comment section, all right, you have to comment later on in the comment section that what are these 5 oceans. You have to mention the names of all the 5 oceans and their deepest point. You have to mention in the comment box. All right, this is your homework. You have to search wherever you want to search, and you have to mention in the comment section, and I will check your answers. All right, and that day on Saturday I have checked your comments, and Rupali has commented that he scored 75 to 80 marks. Prajata has also scored 80 marks, and one person was also there, that Pratyush, he had scored some 88 or something point. All right, so I have seen their comments. So it's not like that I haven't seen any of the I don't see your comments. I always see your comments. I always watch your comments. So you have to write it down. No idea about this topic? Yes, Sakshi, I will tell you about this topic in detail. But now, firstly, it's your job to search, all right? Because when you do anything by yourself, it will create an impact in your mind, and it will be very easy for all of you to memorize these things, all right? So when I will take up your class related to these deepest points, then it would be a revision for all of you, and you can answer over here, and this will become an interesting class also. Okay, so you have to name, not here, I will check up in the comment section your names of oceans and their deepest points. Next is your, in May 2021, Japanese brokerage Nomura cut its GDP growth estimate for the current 2021-22 fiscal to how much percentage from the earlier 12.6%, and your options are given 11.6%, 11.4%, 10.2% or 10.8%. So please answer this question. Okay, so please answer this question, that Nomura, that is your Japanese brokerage, has estimated how much GDP. So the correct answer is your 10.8% GDP, and it has degraded its GDP from 12.6% earlier. Next homework is that you have to comment all the GDPs of the various organization. All right, I have told you about various organizations and their released GDP forecast for the year 2022, and I have told you that what is the GDP forecast of your United Nations, what is the GDP forecast of your World Bank, IMF, ADB, all right, and that is your Goldman Sachs, Oxford Economics. I have told all these data to all of you, so you have to revise it and you have to comment. You have to write down in the comment section what is the GDP forecast of various organizations. All right, so I will take up your session till now here, and again we will meet tomorrow at 8:15. Do not miss the class. Be regular and keep learning like this. Stay at home. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and take care, all of you.